Hello everyone, my name is Felix and today I'm going to be talking about my Ninjago character rankings. Please do keep in mind that these rankings are based on how much I like these characters, aka it's my opinion, and how well I think they're written. Again, my opinion. First up, we have Akita, or Akita, however you want to call her. First of all, I like Akita. I like how her purpose is not just to be a Lloyd romantic interest, and she's actually her own person and she wants to get revenge for her people. Despite this, I still feel like she was used as a tool to guide Lloyd along his journey in the Never Realm. I know that her motivations were mainly just to kill the Ice Emperor, but nonetheless, she acted very much as an object, and we didn't really get to explore on her family apart from her brother, Kataru. But even despite all of that, I really love her character, so Akita, congratulations, you're going in S tier. And next up we have Acronix, Crux's brother from Hands of Time. And while I don't necessarily hate Acronix, he's just boring. He's a lot better than his brother Crux, that's for sure. But even then, his character lacks anything that can make the audience love them. Sure, Acronix is curious since technology is something that's new to him, but this is just constantly annoying, both for the characters and for the audience. But still, his character could be much worse, so Acronix, you're getting C tier. Next up is, I hate to say it, Esphira. I hate Esphira. Her constant talk about revenge and that being her only motivation and her only character trait, it gets on my nerves. I absolutely despise her character. And sure, I understand where she comes from. She was betrayed by someone that she considered her friend, Wu. But the fact that she's so fixated on it and that she constantly talks about it, I just hate it. She's such an annoying character, even if she had good motivations. So, my not so dear Esphira, you're getting F tier from me. Following up, possibly one of the worst Ninjago characters of all time is Chen. And I really do like Chen. He's one of those silly goofy villains and he heavily reminds me of Season 1 and Season 2 Garmadon, which I also really like. Despite this, I feel like he was a bit of an asshole to his own daughter Skylar, and that's going to bring him down a tier or two, but I'm not going to say what tier he's in just yet. I love how absolutely manic and hyper Chen is, and I really like his obsession for buttons. He really reminds me of myself, and I really do like him. And for all these reasons, Chen is getting A tier. And next up is Clutch Powers. No, not that one. This one. And I'm going to keep this one simple. A lot of people don't like Ninjago's version of Clutch Powers because he's not courageous and because he's lazy and probably an alcoholic. But really, there are so many adventurous, courageous, and righteous characters in Ninjago that a Lego added him as he was in the first movie, then he would just be another carbon copy of the ninjas and other sidekicks. So I like that about him. But nonetheless, he's kind of a mid character, so he's going in the same tier as Acronix. C tier. Next up, we have the absolute beloved that is Dr. Jillian. And a quick fun fact, we don't know if Jillian is his first or last name, so Zane Jillian is technically not canon. And while he didn't have a lot of appearances in the series itself, I do really like how sweet he is, and he's genuinely one of the best, if not the best, parent in all of Ninjago. He only meant the best for his son, and even if he wasn't necessarily present during Zane's life, he wanted his son to be the best person that he could possibly be, and he taught him a lot of great things. That's why I like Dr. Jillian. So for these and many other reasons, Dr. Jillian is getting an S tier. Next up is our first main character from this list, Cole. And I can't even begin to express how much I love Cole and his character overall. His character development, his story, and his motivations are all prime examples of what a good character is. His arc is continuous, and it does make sense. His relationship with his family is possibly one of the biggest elements in his whole story, and I do really appreciate that. All the way from the first Fangblade episode to the entirety of Master of the Mountain, the showrunners have always shown us that Cole is a kind soul that appreciates his family, and I just absolutely adore him. He's possibly my favorite out of the main ninjas. So for these and many other reasons, Cole is the first triple S tier of this list. And next is Fugitive. Yes, Fugitive. For me, what started out as a simple background character in The Absolute Worst has become one of the funniest recurring characters. And no, I don't mean that ironically. Fugitive is eccentric, he's obsessed, he's quick, he's hyper, and he's all the things that can be seen and read as annoying. And in Crystallize, he very much is annoying, and Jay clearly expresses that. But for me, I just really like Fugitive for some reason. This doesn't mean I think that he's the magnum opus of characters in Ninjago, not by a long shot, but I do like him, so he's getting a B tier. Sorry not sorry. Next is Fungus, and you probably forgot this guy's name, I don't blame you. He's a very minor character and he doesn't really have that much personality, but I don't care. Remember, this is based on how much I like them. This guy is just, I don't know, he's not even all that funny. I just really do like his character and his design overall. I'm going to keep this very short. He's kind of the pathetic old man trope, and I'm a sucker for that trope, don't ask me why, so he's getting an A tier. I don't know. And next up is Garmadon, specifically human/sensei Garmadon. I know I'm not going to regret saying this, but Garmadon is the best parent in all of Ninjago. He was always there for Lloyd, and he was always trying to spend more quality time with him. The time that he had lost while he was evil, and something that someone, Misako, didn't do. So I really do appreciate him for that, and Sensei Garmadon is probably one of the best written Ninjago characters of all times, and I'm not going to take those words back. Easy triple S for Sensei Garmadon. And next we have Nia, the Master of Water herself. And I love Nia. I love how she stopped being just the girl character and Kai's sister and the girl ninja, and actually became her own person. I love that unlike Water, she's not cool and calm and go with the flow. I like that she contradicts her own element and is more quick-witted and quick to rage like Kai. Her character growth is fantastic and I just absolutely love her. S tier for the girl boss. And next we have Nia's brother, Kai the Master of Fire. And while I do adore Kai, in the first few seasons he was just kind of unbearable to me. He was always kind of self-centered and things were always about him, but I don't blame him. I've psychoanalyzed him before and I definitely don't think it's his fault, and it's not something that damages his character too much. But still, he has grown as a character. I only find it annoying that every few seasons he loses his powers again. It's like Zane and dying, it just gets really repetitive and boring. So my boy Kai only gets S tier. And next we have Lloyd, and I have a lot of thoughts about Lloyd. And while he's a great ninja and he's a fantastically written character, I don't really like Lloyd. I'm sorry for the sudden speed paint change, but anyways. Me not liking Lloyd as much is not going to affect how high I rank him, please keep that in mind. I could talk about what I don't like about him for a while, but I'm going to keep it simple since we don't have the time for that. The writers don't know what to do with this character at all. Sometimes his powers are more powerful and sometimes he has a lot more skills than in other seasons. They just want him to be plot convenient, and that really pisses me off. On the other hand, he's a really great character and he was written as a brave person, of course, the great ninja. He gave up his own childhood, he was traumatized and he suffered through so much. And I do like his character, I just don't like the way it's written after season 10. I mean, after season 11, the series of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, I just feel like they ruined his character. But even then, he's still a great character, so S tier. And now we have one of the characters that I possibly hate the most in all of Ninjago, Crux. First of all, the identity of Dr. Saunders being a fake is supposed to be a giant, important plot twist. But if you didn't watch Day of the Departed between season 6 and season 7, this is going to make absolutely no sense to you. Apart from that, Crux is just a horrible villain. He's not menacing, and yeah, he's not a goofy type of villain. He's just bland and boring and like a graham cracker. He's not funny, his jokes aren't funny, his plan isn't good, nothing about him is good. I hate his character. Shame on you for tainting the Ninjago amazing villain streak. FF tier. And now we have the third parent from the list. Lou, aka Cole's dad. And I don't know how to feel about Lou. He obviously set his own expectations onto his son and he projected onto him, which is not really a good thing. And the entire fiasco slash homophobia from the Fanblade episode just didn't really sit right with me. But I do like Lou. It's clear that he cares for his son unlike some other parents in Ninjago, so I'm going to give him a solid B tier. And now we enter the parent streak, with our following contestant being Maya, Kai and Nia's mom. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know how to feel about Maya. They were entirely absent up until season 7, and even after that they didn't really show up until Seabound. They're very absent parents and we don't really know about their personalities all that much. In Seabound, we learn that Maya is a bit overbearing as a parent, and she's kind of protective over Nia, and Nia specifically. I like that she's not a bad mom, but she was still very absent, and I don't really like her character. For that, I'm going to give her the mid-tier, C. Breaking our parent streak for a short while is Moro, and I'm going to say it straight away, Moro is my favorite character in Ninjago of all seasons. Moro is fantastically written and I could talk about him for an entire 30-minute video if I could, but I don't have the time for that, so I'm going to concise it down for you. While Moro acts childish, he has every right to do so, and it's only normal since he technically did grow up alone without someone to take care of him and teach him what's right or what's wrong, so I don't really blame him for that. I don't excuse any of his actions, but I do think they're more than justified. He's the perfect representation and parallel to what Kai would have been had he not reached his true potential and not realized that he was supposed to take care of the Green Ninja, not be him. Overall, fantastic character, one of my favorites, triple S tier. And we're back to the parent streak, this time with the worst parent and worst character in Ninjago, Misako. Words cannot even begin to explain how much I hate her character. Not only did she abandon Lloyd, but she was also an extremely absent mother after she came back. And right after Lloyd lost his dad for the third time, mind you, and was struggling and he was mourning, instead of counseling him, what did she do? She went after Wu, her son's uncle and ex-husband's brother. Way to be a supportive mother, Misako. Again, words can't even begin to describe how much I hate her. FF tier. Now we have Klaus. And I really do like Klaus, unlike most people. While Klaus is snarky and mysterious and seems like just another villain sidekick, I do like his backstory with Garmadon and how it all links to Chen. I can't say much about his ambitions, but he's a fun character to play around with. So he gets a B tier from me. It's above mid. Good for him. And now we have Echo Zane, a character that had literally no lines in the entire show. Despite this, Echo Zane is goofy and I really do like him, despite the season he was in getting entirely undone. I sort of wish the writers went through with their idea to make Echo Zane Mr. E in the later seasons, but I'm also somewhat glad that they didn't. It just makes Echo Zane that much more special as a character. So, despite Echo not talking at all, he gets an A tier. And now we have Ed and Edna Walker, Jay's parents. While Ed and Edna are obviously not Jay's biological parents, they sure are his true family. They obviously care for him a lot and I really like how they're both written. Despite them being pictured as annoying, they're obviously very loving towards Jay and they care about him more than anything in the world. I like that they're very supportive of him no matter what, and I love how both of them, especially Ed, handled the entire situation during Skybound. They're both great parents, easy A tier. And now we have Harumi. Listen, I like Harumi, I like how she was written, I like her motivations, I like her backstory, I like the plot twist during season 8. But she shouldn't have revived and crystallized. I don't have many thoughts about her other than that, but I do like how her concept constantly haunted Lloyd after season 10. That was just phenomenal. but I didn't like how they brought her back. Even so, she gets a B tier from me. And back to the parents for a little while, we have Ray, Kai and Nia's dad. And just like his wife Maya, I don't have a lot to say about him. He was very, very absent. He didn't appear much in the show. He's kind of lazy, as we've seen in Seabound. But I don't know. I don't really have an opinion of him, I guess. And just like Maya, Ray gets the C tier. Okay, there's another speed paint change because I'm calculating all the times wrong. But this time you're going to have to suffer with me being a concept artist for another project. You're welcome. Okay, and the first character with the new speed paint on the background is Narakan. Like most people, I do like Narakan. Sure, he's very, very creepy, but I do like the threat he poses. He's actually menacing, and he's not a sob-story villain like most ones we have in Ninjago right now. And sure, he has somewhat sad backstory, but that doesn't make him redeemable at all. In any case, I do like Narakan, so A tier. And the next character on our list is Miss Take. I don't really know what to say about her. She didn't really stick out to me. She didn't appear in too many episodes. The plot twist of her being an Oni was interesting, but even then, I don't think she's a very interesting character. I do like her and I do appreciate her, but she's just kind of boring. So she gets a B tier. And next is the Overlord. And sure, he's an interesting villain, but can't the writers just let him die? Like, it's been 16 seasons and the guy is still not dead for good. Even after Crystallize, I don't believe that he's truly gone. It's going to be another build-up to the Overlord, and they're going to defeat him again in Ninjago United. You can count on my words. The reason why I don't believe that he's not dead is because of what he said in Season 1, where there is light, there is darkness. And because of this phrase and this phrase alone, I wholeheartedly believe that while Lloyd is alive, the Overlord is going to be right behind him. So, overall, an E tier character, the first of his kind. Next up is the one and only Pythor P. Chumsworth. I'm just gonna say it, I love Pythor. I really wish he had more time in Crystallize because it would have been very, very cool to see parallels between Season 1 and Season 16, which was supposed to be the last season of Ninjago, except it isn't, but whatever. I love Pythor's character, and I love how he's evil just because. I don't think they've ever shown him wanting power or anything else. He ate his entire tribe and is now just looking for something else to do, and that happens to be evil. I really do love him. So, Pythor is getting an S tier from me. And next up we have Garmadon again, but this time it's specifically pre-Season 2 and post-Season 8 Garmadon, aka Evil Garmadon. Just like Sensei Garmadon, Evil Garmadon is fantastically written. I love his character entirely, I love him through and through. I love that despite him being technically all evil in this new reincarnation, that he still seems to care for something. In Crystallize, we know that it's Christopher and Vinny from NGTV News. And while he doesn't seem to show that same affection for Lloyd that he showed in Seasons 1 and 2, he still seems to know that Lloyd is his son and doesn't treat him harshly. Sure, he's a lot more rough about it, but he's still Lloyd's dad, even if at one point he said he wasn't. Fantastic character once again, SS tier. Next up for another character that probably no one knows is Plunder. He's from the same season as Fungus, aka Master of the Mountain. And while a lot of people joke about him having the Riz, I do actually like him as a character, not just his design. For people that don't know, Plunder in Master of the Mountain always uses his dice to make decisions, and he's very undecisive. And I can really relate to him as a character. But at one point he has to make a crucial decision, and he decides to not trust his dice and go with his guts. It's a small character development for a very small side character, but I still really like him. So, while he may not be important, Plunder is getting a B tier. And next we have Pixel. And this is a case that I'm very, very sad about because I really do love Pixel. Pixel is personally one of my all-time favorite Ninjago characters, and I fell in love with her at first sight the second I saw her in that one Season 3 episode, but I feel like she wasn't written very well from the beginning. Originally, she was only Zane's love interest, which was already a bit weird for me. And after that, she once again served as a guide for Zane during Tournament of the Elements. And after that, she became the guide for all of the ninja while her conscience was inside of the Destiny's Bounty. And then she became the engineer for the ninja. Do you see my point? Pixel was never really just Pixel. She always had to support someone else, and I don't really like that about her character. And for those few reasons only, Pixel is going B tier. Next up, we have another horrible Ninjago character, the Skull Sorcerer, aka King Vangelis. And while the season he's from is fantastic, I don't like him as a villain. The guy is a literal slave owner, how am I supposed to like him? And not only that, but the writers tried to make him a twist villain, when it was really just, who could be the villain, except for the one character that we haven't explored properly? Of course it was going to be him, it was way too obvious. Him and his talking green skull thing annoy me, they're going FF tier. Next up we have the Mechanic, and honestly, he's not a bad villain, but he's not a good villain. He's very boring, and I really don't think he deserved a spot in the Crystal Council. I could talk about what a better Crystal Council would have been all day, but I don't have time for that. The Mechanic started out as a random side villain of the week thing, until he grew into an actual problem, and that I appreciate. So for that reason, he's not going FF, he's actually going E tier, he's just mid. And next up we have the Omega, aka the leader of the Onis. This is a very interesting concept, and it would have been an actual threat had the 10th season not been 4 whole episodes. This is a lot of wasted potential for a single villain, because Omega means the end or the final part of something, and it would have been a great conclusion to Ninjago itself, but of course the writers had to extend it. But I do really like the Omega as a concept, it was just not a good execution at all. So for the missed potential, I'm giving it a G tier. And next up is Zane. Actually, one of my favorite characters of all time too. And I think I'm speaking for everyone when I say that I prefer the way Zane was written before Season 8. After that, he was more of just an emotionless robot, which is exactly what he feared he would become. I like when Zane was a robot with human emotions, and I like when he was just an android. Then it just started to get out of hand. Besides that, the writers use him as death bait. Since they can't really show violence with actual humans, they use Zane as their bait and as their punching bag for, well, everything they want to do. And while they may think that this is impactful, it's really only damaging Zane's character, because you can't really empathize with a character's death if you know that it's a fake out one. And especially when it happens every other season or so, it just gets repetitive and predictable. Nonetheless, Zane is my boy, so he's getting SS tier. Next up we have another character that I hate, which is Sensei Wu. And while I understand that the writers need someone to reveal what the next big bad is going to be, having it be Wu every single time only damages his character. It makes him come across as mysterious and as someone who keeps too many secrets, instead of a wise master who has to teach his students. But he's not as horrible as Misako, so he's only getting F tier. Next up, we have Ronin. And he's actually one of my favorite characters from Ninjago 2. As you can tell, I have a lot of favorite characters. I love that while he's helped the ninja and is their friend, he's not a hero and he's not a vigilante. He's still a criminal, but he does appreciate his friends. His characterization, morals, and priorities are very clear, and we can see that in the island, even if it's just a special. He's a very well written character, and I really do love him, so he's getting SS tier. And then we have Skylar, another one of the girl baddies from the series, and I really do love her too, but just like Pixel, she was kind of done dirty by the writers. Skylar has a really strong character, and I love her original arc of breaking free from her own dad and being her own person. I love that arc and I relate to it so much. She's a big baddie, I love her, she's getting A tier. And the tier maker that I was using did not have J in it for some reason, so I'm doing J now as the last character in this tier list. Literally, look at all the characters that I didn't rank, and J isn't in there. So I'm doing it now. I love Jay, and I love his character development, specifically his arc from season 6 to season 15. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's very subtle. But in season 6, aka Skybound, Jay lies a lot, and he keeps his encounters with not kind of secrets so that the others don't find out and get mad at him. And in his short film, which takes place right after Seabound, his element is honesty, and he tells Kai that he shouldn't lie anyways. This implies that he's gone through a change and that he's completed a character arc, even if it's not really addressed directly. One thing I don't like about his character is how he went from a creative, smart engineer to a kind of dumbass that doesn't even know what a motherboard is. It completely ruins his character for me personally, but I will still put him in A tier because I love that boy. And that will be all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you can share this video with anyone in any way possible, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for everything, and I'll probably see you guys next time. Bye!